Welcome to the Heart of a Viking. This channel offers elementary art lessons taught by Mrs. Minto from the Cape Henlopen School District in Delaware. I look forward to virtually creating with you. There are new lessons posted weekly. Subscribe to the channel to make sure you don't miss a single one. So go grab your art supplies and your thinking caps and let's begin. Hey, fourth grade artists, we are continuing our learning on Andy Warhol, but now we're switching our focus to his printmaking techniques. So Andy Warhol did something called screen printing. Unfortunately, we don't have all of the necessary equipment here at HOB to do screen printing, but we can do a process that's very similar. So we're going to do styrofoam printing. So for this particular piece of artwork, you need a drawing. I saved my original self-portrait from the previous works of art, and I'm going to use that as my drawing for this work of art. However, you can also make a separate one as well. You just need a piece of paper that is as big as your piece of styrofoam, and you need a drawing that is simple but not too simple. For example, you don't want to just draw one big heart. You want it to be a little more complicated than that. So you want it to be kind of simple, but you also do not want it to include letters or numbers, because the way that this piece of artwork works, everything will come out backwards. So if you wrote a word, when you printed it, the word would be completely backwards. So we just want to avoid that for right now. Later, if you want to challenge yourself to create a piece of artwork where you use letters and numbers and you plan ahead and you write them backwards, then when you print them, they'll be the right way. You can do that another time. But right now we want something that's just an image. So that's why I'm using my self-portrait from the last project. It works perfect for this. So if you have yours, go ahead and grab that. In addition, you're going to need a piece of styrofoam. Now at school, I have styrofoam that I purchased for us from my special art catalogs. However, you probably don't have that at home. So you can find some styrofoam on the top of an egg carton. So the flat lid of the egg carton, as long as it's made of styrofoam, you should use that. That's what I use when I'm doing styrofoam printing at home as well. So you're going to find your piece of styrofoam, cut it into a piece that's as big as your drawing paper. Mine's pretty small here. And then once you have both of those together, come on back and we're going to begin with our styrofoam printing project. Alright, so you're going to start by taking your drawing and taping it to the front of your piece of styrofoam. Most likely there's no front or back, so you can just decide which is the front and which is the back of your styrofoam. And you're going to line up your drawing so it fits mostly on the styrofoam and put one little piece of tape across the top to hold the paper in place, just like this. Okay, next you're going to grab your ink pen. I like to use an ink pen as opposed to a pencil for this because of the smoothness of it. And you're going to trace every single line that you drew originally on your original drawing. So it's kind of like how we outline sometimes with Sharpie. Very similar idea, except I am now tracing with a pen, and something cool is happening. On the styrofoam under my picture, because I'm pressing a little bit harder than usual, I'm actually making dents in the surface of my styrofoam. And those dents are going to be really important for the printmaking process later. So right now, it seems like I'm doing a very simple task of outlining, but I'm actually doing a very important task for creating my styrofoam printmaking. At any point, you can feel free to lift up, but do not remove your paper so that you can peek underneath and make sure that you are pressing hard enough to dent the styrofoam. You can do that at any point you want and as often as you want. when you're done with the tracing on the paper, I want you to a second time trace onto the styrofoam. This time, the ink is actually going to draw on the styrofoam, which is really nice because then you'll be able to see your drawing a whole lot better. So be very careful. Make sure that you're tracing right on those pencil lines and you're pressing a little deeper into the styrofoam this time. So to create a little bit of contrast, I'm actually going to color in with my ink pen some of the spaces that I want to be a little bit darker. So for example, the inside of my mouth where my lips are not, I'm going to just press a little bit harder with my ink pen and color that in, as well as my glasses. My glasses are black, so I'm going to kind of color in those glasses with my ink pen. They'll look darker right now, and then that'll be great for my printing later. All right, so bonus option, fourth graders. You could be finished with that self-portrait, or you can grab a second piece of paper that's the size of your styrofoam, draw a completely different separate picture. I did a pumpkin in the moonlight here, and then trace that on the back of your styrofoam. So for every piece of styrofoam you have, you can actually create 2 works of art for our printmaking process. So for today, at least make 1. So mine would be my self-portrait. And then if you want, you can get a separate piece of paper, draw a second picture, and draw it on the back of your piece of styrofoam. And then once you're all done with that, put all of this in a safe spot, because when we come back next week, we're going to be using washable markers to make a print of your styrofoam. All right, so put this in a safe spot, and I'll see you back here next time at the Heart of a Viking. HOB artists, don't forget to hop on over to Art Sonia to upload a photograph of your piece of artwork to your art portfolio. I can't wait to see it.